morning, everyone. I think we are about to start now. Welcome to our first virtual therapy session with Top Dogs and the Beagle Finnegan and his handler. So I would just like to tell you a little bit more about Top Dogs. So Top Dogs is a non-profit voluntary organization. And I think, Shelley, you will tell us a little bit more about them. And their motto is to spread smiles for miles. And we would love to see whether that's going to work for us today. So please also keep in mind that Top Dogs are trained dogs, and TOP actually is the acronyms for Touch Our Pets. And we are so sorry that we can't do that today, but at least we will be able to see Finnegan and to hear Shelley and to ask you a few questions. And there we've got the first bark. No problem, Shelley. So,
oh my gosh, I knew chaos would descend. It's Finn here.
Is it about the voice? Does he get upset with the talking? There we go. Things are a little bit quieter now. So what I would like just to lay down some basic house rules. Colleagues, someone gave us the tip, just right click on the video on Finnegan and Shelley, and then you can choose the pin option to see them more full screen. The session will also be recorded and we hope it will be live streamed. So I just want to know whether I have everyone's permission. If you don't, people just give me a message. We want to encourage you to interact with Finnegan and Shelley, but please, will you just raise your hand by clicking on the little emoticon down at the bottom, and then you can just raise your hand and let's see how it goes. So the session has been opened, and over to you, Shelley and Finnegan. Let's see who has the first question for you.
Hi, thank you so much for having us. It's not quite the same as being on campus visiting the students, but it's lovely to be able to bring our dogs. And so instead of touch our pets today, as Alta said, we've got see our pets today. So Top Dogs is a non-profit organization and we're all volunteers. So if you have a friendly dog who likes attention and treats, as you see, there's a process that we go through, which I'll tell you about now. And yeah, so we're a non-profit and we all volunteer our time. So it's a commitment that we make because I think I benefit hugely from having my dogs around me. And I truly believe other people benefit hugely from interacting with them. So yes, it's been going since 2008. And we do various visits. We visit hospitals, frail care, homes for people with mental disabilities, schools. There's a huge variety and there's often many requests. And sadly now with lockdown, we're not able to visit. But there were a couple of small visits going on, and now back in level 3, it's obviously shut down. But yes, we work all over. There are dogs in Pretoria, dogs in Johannesburg, the Western Cape, Eastern Cape now, which those two areas are growing slowly but surely. And basically what I read about it a while ago, I had some time and I thought, well, this would be wonderful because I love working with the dogs. And you do a little quiz. You can do it online at our website and to see if you think that you and your dog will be suitable and if you can make the commitment to doing the visits, which are enormously rewarding. It's incredible. You come home floating on air sometimes. It is really amazing. And then the process is you go to 3 observation visits. So you really get a feel of what would suit you, what would suit your dog. They're usually within an hour. It's not much longer than that. You go along, you do a meet and greet with all the other dogs, all have a sniff and a chat and whatnot, do your visit. So once you've done your 3 observations, you do your qualification, which is a test run by an animal behaviorist. It's basically to see that your dog is friendly, interactive, not sort of shut down and hiding in the corner because it's not happy with the circumstances. And that's for me where it's been really important to find the visits that suit Finnegan. He's a little bit scared of small children, so we don't do those visits. But he's good with adults, etc., etc. So his favorite visit was to Nazareth House in Grootkloof. It's just an old age home in frail care. He loved that one. So sadly, that's on hold at the moment. And my other beagle loves people and chaos, and the wilder the better. So she does those visits. So we're pretty much all over the place, and really having a wonderful time doing it, and really looking forward to getting back to it. So people can get involved on any level. We have a project where you can knit or crochet little teddy bears and dogs for the Teddy Bear Foundation, which is a huge initiative. It's in Krugersdorp. It's to help prepare children who have to testify in court. Obviously, it's quite harrowing at times. The kids have been through a lot, but the dogs will dress up in the various roles as magistrate, prosecutor, etc., and it really helps break the ice with children who are terrified and out of their comfort zone, just to have the interaction. Yes.
Sorry, I see we've got some questions here in the chat box. So Bernice wanted to know, where do you work from? So
yes, I see that. So obviously, we're all spread out over the various provinces. There are visits all over in the area. So if you do apply, if you look on our website, it's Top Dogs Therapy Dogs. There's a lot of information
the link in the
there.
chat, everyone. Yeah, I've quickly shared the link so they can just check there.
Okay, great. Thank you. So there's information there. And obviously visits are on hold right now, but they will be rolling out hopefully soon. And yeah, it's pretty much everywhere. The Eastern Cape area is taking off. Western Cape is taking off. One of the big ones at Western Cape is the Red Cross Children's Hospital, which is a wonderful beneficiary for visits with dogs, because a lot of the children have had very negative experiences with dogs in the past. So you bring in a friendly, cuddly, waggly beagle or Labrador or whatever. It's all kinds of breeds. We've got from pit bulls to Yorkies. Yeah, and the volunteering at the moment, because everything is a little bit on hold, it is a little bit more difficult. But as I say, if you can knit or crochet, you'd love to make a little dog for the Teddy Bear Foundation, there's a link on the website that we'd love people to do that. And the other thing we have is that we are one of the My School beneficiaries. So it's as simple as swiping your Woolies and My School card, which all the funding helps. Yeah, and that's essentially kind of what we do. It's just the commitment for you, your dog, and the interaction with, you meet amazing people. It is incredible. So yes, so any questions?
Shelley,
we would...
Yes, I see Rita Dave also wanted to know, can we volunteer even if we don't have our own pet dogs? Now I'm caught on the hop. I saw something on the website that you can still join as a friend of Top Dogs. You can join as a friend of Top Dogs, and like you mentioned now, with all your outreach projects and your knitting and crochet projects.
Unfortunately, it's so difficult now with lockdown, because I have been at home since March last year. I haven't been doing any visits. This is our first visit since then. So I think Finnegan's coping really well. So yes, it is. But hopefully we'll all get back on track and people will be able to see us out and about and working.
Bronwyn also has a message for us. She says, I'm sure workplaces would also benefit from this as well, assist in reducing workplace-based stress. Yes, Bronwyn, that's actually such a nice comment, because
yes, absolutely.
Yeah, I think that's why I'm organizing this. And I think this might be our first virtual dog therapy session in South Africa, Shelley.
Definitely, do you know? For Top Dogs, it's a first. It is definitely for us. So it's actually been quite fun doing the whole experience. And there have been a couple of visits where the dogs went with a few handlers just to meet and greet some nursing staff, doctors, etc., outside of the hospitals, because the hospitals that we previously would be allowed in to visit are obviously, that's out of bounds. So it was a lovely experience for the dogs to go and hand out gift packs and just say well done to all the frontline workers.
Very nice. Any other questions? I don't see hands, but you are welcome to do them in the chat, but you are also welcome to speak. So just click on the
Yes,
little
please
reactions tab at the
Finnegan would love
bottom.
to hear the voices, I'm sure.
Yes, maybe he will even look up. So
There's a
everyone
quick
is very quiet.
Does your dog need to go to a training program? Okay, my dogs all went to puppy class and just more for the socialization than anything. And then they've all been to basic training. But so it's really it's not a huge like, oh my goodness, my dog must be sort of a Olympic medalist level. Your dog has got to be friendly, quite compliant, be able to obey basic rules. So when you do an assessment with your dog, the behaviorist will point out things that he thinks you could work on, or, you know, things that are great, etc., etc. I was terrified the first time I went with Finnegan, and he was fine. He was absolutely fine. So it's not as hectic as it sort of appears when you think, oh, I've got to go and qualify this dog and blah blah blah. It was fairly straightforward and a lot of fun. And then they get a little uniform. They do 6 probation visits. And once those have all gone successfully, your dog will be then a qualified therapy dog. So they do have that chance to, if they don't make it within the 6 visits, you can reassess them, keep working at any issues that may arise. So yes, but generally the dogs cope really well if they've got the right personality for it. It's not for every dog, but a lot of them absolutely love it.
We have another question from Gabby. She wants to know, what are the costs involved, Shelley?
As far as I recall, it was 100 Rand to sort of do your evaluation. And then you obviously need to buy your dog a uniform. Finnegan is wearing his jacket, but it's, I don't know if I can, it's on he's got a little label. He's got, not a label,
could you maybe pick him up, Shelley, so that we can see?
I'm sorry, I've actually got a broken wrist, so I can't pick him.
Oh, I see. No, don't worry about that.
But I can always take his jacket off in a minute. So he's got a little badge like this, and then his name. So you have to buy the jacket, and then our color scheme is navy and white. So obviously he has a navy collar and a navy lead. So there's small costs involved. It's not a huge amount. And then you need your own uniform with the badge. And we all carry a backpack. We have a file with all the dog's information, the visits that they've done. They do need to be treated for ticks, fleas, parasites annually, or not annually, sorry, monthly. They also have to do a vet check with your vet just to say that they're healthy and able to work. So yes, there are a few costs, but that's almost a one-off. And then obviously there will be the cost of your time, which for me is negligible, I suppose. I'm happy to give my time, but your travel costs if you go to visits that are perhaps further afield. But yes, there usually are visits within your area that you can do, and there are visits within the week, and usually on a Saturday, and occasionally something that may arise that's a bit different.
Shelley, we are getting 2 for 1 now, because who's sitting there behind you?
That's Shelley. She's also a therapy dog.
Okay, wonderful, because we can see her now very nicely.
Yes, I see her.
So
she's
Gabby,
trying to get closer to the treats.
Yeah, Gabby said Finnegan is beautiful.
Thank you.
And then Bronwyn wanted to know, do certain or different breeds make for better therapy dogs? That's also an interesting question.
You know, it's really not. I think people think, oh, maybe Labradors or Retrievers, because we see the guide dogs working, etc. My Beagle, Sally, sitting here, is a real wild child. She's 9. And I thought she's never going to make the cut. She's just not going to be able to do it. She was brilliant and she loves it. So as I said before, we've got dogs ranging. Our biggest dog that I know of is a Newfoundland who weighs about 78 kilograms. If you go onto the website and you look at the Meet the Team pictures, you'll see a picture of Rossi there. He's huge and very handsome. And then we've got some teeny tiny little dogs. So it's really about the personality of your dogs. We've got Labradors who, we've heard of Labradors that don't enjoy it, so can't do it. Whereas you think, oh, Labrador would be fabulous. Yeah, so it's all kinds of dogs. Really, it's not breed specific at all.
That's very interesting. Melissa has another question for you, Shelley. Before COVID, how many visits were there on average?
Wow. I would say off the top of my
Let's say
head,
for you personally, yes, for you personally, how
for
often?
me, I would probably go once a week if I could, at least. Sorry, you've got a greedy beagle on the right. But there are usually at least 2 to 3 visits scheduled within a week in your area that you can pick and choose from. The commitment is to at least do 1 visit a month, more if you can, but we understand people are working, busy, have lots going on. I'm lucky enough to be able to have time to, do extra visits.
So Shelley, I can see you are feeding them treats all the time. So what is in that little blue bowl? What are you feeding them?
These are, they're pretty disgusting if you don't like dogs. It's chicken liver with eggs and peanut butter powder, and it's just processed and then baked into tiny little treats, which they.
That's so you make your own.
Yes, I do.
Oh, that's wonderful.
Yeah, that's why they're a little bit chunky.
I also love to bake. I think you should please share that recipe with me. I would love. So. Yeah. So Rita Dave wanted to know, how do you choose where to visit, and do organizations approach you for visits?
Definitely. I know before lockdown there were a lot of there were a couple of hospitals, some frail care, I think. So as the word spreads about Top Dogs, people hear what we do and, are hoping to get visits. Obviously, we can only do so much. We only have so many people available. And usually we have a minimum amount of dogs. If you're going to say we come to campus, we can't arrive with 2 dogs because they would be totally overwhelmed. A visit like that, we need at least 8 dogs, maybe. So yes. It is, it's quite a popular thing, and there's more demand than we can probably meet.
I remember when you were on campus in 2019, we had about 8 to 10 dogs, at each session, and they were so
Finnegan,
popular.
Finn has been to campus, and so has Shelley, actually, and they loved it.
I remember you. Yeah. Melissa wanted to know, are there any other types of animals that can be part of a therapy program? Another interesting question.
I really think there are, but for us, we do Top Dogs. It's Touch Our Pets and it's Top Dogs, because that's what we know. We have a cat, but I would hate to take her anywhere for therapy. So yes, if you look online, I'm sure there are loads of other types, but we do dogs.
And tell me, how old is Finnegan?
Finnegan has just turned 5.
And tell us a little bit about his background. So where did you get him? And
So I've had beagles for quite a long time, and 5 years ago we tragically lost one of our very special beagles. And Shelley was very, very heartbroken, as was I. And she stopped eating. She was in a bad way. So I started looking for a beagle, and I phoned a friend I know in Cape Town who breeds, and she said, there's a lady, she's a friend, and she's just had a litter, so give her a call. She's in Heidelberg, up here in Gauteng. So we phoned, and off we went, and fell madly in love with Finnegan. He has a good Irish name. He's named for Finn McCool who's famous for the Devil's Causeway in Ireland. It's a myth about the giant Finn McCool who threw all the bits of the coastline into the Irish Sea to get across to defend Ireland from the Scottish giant.
Oh, how interesting.
Yeah, so he's Finnegan. The little one over here is Morrissey. He too has an Irish name because I thought he needed one.
There we can see him.
And Sally was
Yeah.
adopted at 18 months from Beagle Rescue, and she came with a name, so we kept it.
Yes. Oh, she's lying down there at the back now. She looks gorgeous.
She's an older lady who can be sensible at times.
Finnegan, look at us, because every now
Yeah,
there we get a Finnegan look. There we get a Finnegan look. So Shelley, Nikki also shared that she would love to have that recipe.
Oh, I'm
there
sorry.
are more people interested in that recipe. If you are willing
Okay,
to share.
I can send it to you perhaps, or I can just, I
Yes.
sort of got it in my head. I don't know what the best would be.
So I'll tell everyone, if you want the recipe, you can maybe just email me, alcibi.olivier@up.ac.za, and I will then share the Shelley special Finnegan treat recipe with you. Bronwyn has asked a question. She wants to know, how many beagles do you have? So I think it's 3.
Only 3, which is more than enough. I used to help with beagle welfare, and the most we ever had on one day is 13. It is total and utter chaos, very noisy, but loads and loads of cuddles and lots of love.
Thank you very much for that. Melissa, no, let me first say, Rita Dave said they are all adorable.
Oh,
we really have a very nice view of Sally now. They're behind you. Let me just share that with you. Yeah,
Sally?
Yeah, she's perfectly.
Oh, look lying there on the back of the couch.
Oh, beautiful. Yeah, there we can see all of them. And Melissa wants to know, how was Finnegan's first visit?
His first visit was, I'm just trying to think, he qualified in 2019. His first visit was, well, they do the 6 probations. So the first one he went to was obviously a probation visit. He was a little bit nervous, I must admit, and I was thinking, oh my gosh, this isn't going to work. We're going to be going straight home. But once he got into sort of the swing of it, he actually has done really well. There are times where he's a bit overwhelmed by lots and lots of dogs. That's where it's nice being able to pick and choose what suits your dog, because you'll know if it's a crazy visit, it's not going to work for him, but it'll work for Sally. So it is important to choose the right environment for your dog, and very important to be aware of how your dog is dealing with the situation. Not every dog is happy to be there all the time. If they're having a bad day, as we do, they may not want to.
I can just imagine. So you've got to know your dog well and also read the signs.
Absolutely.
Yeah. But when you visited the campus, I think they enjoyed it, didn't they?
They loved it. They were exhausted afterwards, but they absolutely loved it. I loved it too. It was a lot of fun. It's very, very, very rewarding. Somebody tapped me on my car window ages ago, and she said she'd met the dogs at a visit and literally had a life-changing interaction with one of the dogs, and that was mind-blowing for me. I was just thought that was extremely special.
Oh, it was, yeah. So let me just share with you, this was my dream, to really have a physical session as a stress reliever for our students and staff members, because I think we are all in such a tough spot at the moment, and especially with all the COVID cases climbing again. So my apologies to everyone that we can't have a physical session, but just keep in mind that I am in contact with Top Dogs, and who knows, maybe things will look a little bit up towards the end of the year, and then maybe we can really be able to touch Finnegan. So
yes, he would love that.
Yeah, thank you very much, Shelley. So I just shared here with the students, if we have any students here, that they should also remember that the Student Counseling Unit offers mental health products for students free of charge. I've given you their web address. Please go and have a look here. If you want to register for any of the other sessions, I've just posted the link again. And Bronwyn now commented, Shelley, she said, thank you so much. This has been a lovely coffee break while I'm completing my research proposal. Wonderful, Bronwyn. That's exactly what we had in mind, because this is short and sweet. But I think this beats anything else that we have to do in front of our computers.
I'm sorry that nobody can be here to hug and cuddle and squish the dogs a bit. I know this lockdown has been a real challenge for everybody, but every little bit helps, I'm sure.
Every little bit helps. And I would just like to tell everyone that I am going to share a little evaluation form with you, if you don't mind. And I would love to get your feedback on this initiative. So if you really enjoyed this, spread the word, first of all. And secondly, please tell me how much you enjoyed it, so that I can motivate, that I can continue doing this. So Shelley, this was really our first session. I think Finnegan was a real star, and so were all the others as well. Sally,
thank you.
Especially there, lying there on the couch. And we really enjoyed this. And Gabby, let me just tell you what everyone said here. So Rita said, thank you so much. This was really awesome. Melissa said, I can't wait to meet these cuties in person. They bring so much joy. And Gabby said, thank you for bringing a huge smile to my face. So great to know about Top Dogs. And isn't that exactly what we want to do, was just to create those smiles on our faces. Rita Dave said, hugs to Finnegan. And Nikki said, virtual cuddles to Finnegan and his siblings. And that is then a thank you so much from me, Shelley, for your willingness to experiment with me and to try this out. And he was an absolute star. You can feel very happy and proud. Yeah. I think
it was an absolute pleasure. I know
wonderful.
He didn't sit focused on the camera, but
no, but you know what? I think we got to know them, and we got to know you. And it was very interesting. And actually, he was well behaved. He was really well behaved. I'm sure he's not going to have supper tonight.
Listen, I think he's going to need a very, very long walk, because he's been eating all morning. So yes, I think the diet is on his cards right now. Yeah. But at least he kind of sat here for most of the time. I'm sorry about the odd bark, but it is what it is. They're dogs.
Yeah, they are dogs. Win it all. They are dogs, and we understand that. But thank you so much, Shelley.
No, thank you.
And also for the recipe that you will be sharing with us.
I will email you in 5 minutes, and then you can make it available, on whoever needs it.
Thank you so much. I'll really appreciate that. So if we don't have any questions from anyone else, I think we can then say that thank you for the session and goodbye to everyone. And I hope I'll see you all again tomorrow. Bye-bye.